In the E3 2018 Direct, Nintendo officially unveiled Super Smash Bros. Ultimate to the world. With the announcement of a new game comes the exciting prospect of seeing what new character gets added to the ever-expanding roster. If we take into account the brand new fighters and echoes, so far 9 characters has been revealed. We have the Inklings from Splatoon, Billy from Metroid, Simon Belmont from Castlevania, King K. Rool from Donkey Kong Country, and Isabelle from the Animal Crossing series. And for the newly branded Echo Fighter, we have Daisy, who's an echo of Peach, Crumb, who's an echo of Roy, and Dark Samus, who's an echo of Samus, of course. As we approach the anticipated release date, the Smash community is speculating on which character will be revealed next. Hello, I'm your host Mr. Platium, and welcome to Channel 52. In this video, I'll be taking an educated guess and give you my thought on which character I believe have a chance on making it to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I believe that we'll get a newcomer from the Super Mario Bros. Series. Now I'm aware that we technically got a character in the form of Daisy, but since he's the echo of Peach, he doesn't really count as a new character. And if we look back at past installment, we always get a new Mario rap, whether it be Peach and Bowser in Melee, or Bowser Jr. and Rosalina in Smash 4. Now there are 3 potential characters from the Mario series that could come to Ultimate. We have Captain Toad from Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Paper Mario from the Paper Mario series, and Geno from Super Mario RPG. Now each character has a validity for why they should be in Smash. Characters such as Captain Toad and Paper Mario are the leads of their own series that are generally popular, and Geno is a very renowned character that the community has always wanted to be in Smash. Out of the 3, I believe that Geno has the likeliest chance of coming to Ultimate, and there are numerous reasons why I believe this to be the case. The first reason being is that, like I previously said before, he's been highly requested by fans. And with the prospect of this being his last game, Sakurai must be trying to go out with a bang by giving fans the character they long for. This might explain why we got characters such as King K. Rool and Ridley, who similar to Geno has also been requested by the fans. The next reason is the Geno-inspired Mii costume that appears in the DLC for Smash 4. An interesting detail to note about the Mii costumes in general is that some of them are actually based on characters that will eventually appear in Ultimate. For example, characters such as the Inkling, King K. Rool, Crumb, and Isabelle all had Mii-inspired costumes before they were ever officially revealed for Ultimate. And this just doesn't extend to the playable characters. There were also some assist trophies that also got costumes such as Zero, Knuckles, and Rathalos. Now it's possible that these Mii costumes were a precursor to certain characters that Sakurai had an invested interest in putting in Ultimate. An interesting observation that could further prove this point is the costume based on King K. Rool. On Twitter, a user by the name of Mimikyu noticed an odd discrepancy between the outfit and the trophy based on the character. He noticed that they both use different assets. For example, the trophy depicts K. Rool as having a light green skin, while the costume uses a darker shade of green that appears a bit more scalier and detailed. Then we have the color of K. Rool's chest. The trophy depicts the chest as having a flesh tone color, while the costume depicts it as having a golden metallic-like texture. And one of the most interesting contrasts is the tail. The Smash Bros. Trophy omits K. Rool's tail, while the costume includes it. Now when we look at the asset used to develop K. Rool model in Smash Ultimate and compare it to the one used to develop his costume, we can see that there's a noticeable similarity. Now in one of the Famitsu interview, Sakurai stated that the proposal for Ultimate was developed around December 2015. During the development of the remaining Smash 4 DLC, it's possible that the King K. Rool costume was developed during that time, and possible that out of foresight, Sakurai made sure that the costume asset could be used later on in the future. Now Gino was also able to get a meat inspired costume, and Sakurai stated the reason he did this was because ever since Brawl he always wanted to add Gino to the roster. And similar to how King K. Rool draw inspiration and uses assets from his Mii costume, it's possible that the design from the Gino inspired costume could be used to make an official Smash Ultimate model for the character. And the last reason has to do with the Smash Ballot. For those who weren't aware, the Smash Ballot was a special event where people could vote for which character they wanted to appear in Smash 4 as DLC. And in the recent Famitsu column, it was revealed that the result from that ballot was used to choose characters that would later appear in Smash Ultimate, such as Chrom or Dark Samus and King K. Rool. And possible that maybe one of those characters that did well in the ballot was Gino, making it possible for him to be included in Smash Ultimate. Now, one of the biggest hurdles facing Gino is that despite originating from a Mario game, the rights to the character doesn't belong to Nintendo, but in fact to Square Enix. But I don't think that will be a major problem. For Ultimate, Sakurai was able to get every third-party characters that has ever appeared in the history of the series. And this also included Cloud, who's basically a Square Enix rep. Now if Sakurai was able to get Cloud back, he could potentially negotiate with Square Enix to get the right to use Gino. In fact, if Sakurai was able to get the costume, he could possibly get the character if he wanted to. Along with a new Mario character, I also believe we'll get a newcomer from the Fire Emblem series as well. Ever since the release of Awakening, the series has become extremely popular, and it's possible that it was due to this popularity that characters such as Roy and Corrin were added in Smash 4, and why Chrom was added as an Echo Fighter in Smash Ultimate. And it's possible that Ultimate will further capitalize on this trend by adding more characters from the series. When it comes to potential newcomers, 3 come to mind. We have and Celica from Shadows of Valentia, and we have Byleth or Edelgard from the upcoming 3 houses. Out of the 3, both and Celica have the likeliest chance of making it into Smash, since they are the main character from the most recent games in the series. But now the most important question is how should these 2 characters be represented in Ultimate? Now there are numerous ways that Sakurai can go about this. Firstly, he could choose one and relegate the other as an assist trophy or participate in the final Smash. Secondly, he could make them both their own separate fighters, with their own unique moveset and gimmick. And thirdly, he could pair the two up as a single fighter in the vein of Sheik and Zelda for Melee and Brawl. But if Sakurai were to choose just one, the likeliest option would have to be Celica. The reason being is that compared to Celica has some unique property that makes her stand out from the roster. While she's a soul weaver-like character such as Link and Marth, she also has various and unique spells that could be incorporated into her moveset, similar to how Robin utilizes his tomes. But when it comes to the Fire Emblem series, there's also the possibility that Sakurai could choose to represent a character from the upcoming game, Three Houses. Now Sakurai has done this before with Roy in Melee and Corrin in Smash 4. It's unclear as to why he's so infatuated with the series that he'll represent a character from an unreleased game. It's possible that maybe Sakurai is a huge Fire Emblem fan, and this is just his way of showing love and appreciation for the series, I guess. It's possible that we could get a Kirby rep in the form of Bandana Waddle Dee. Now I know what you're all thinking about. Really, Bandana D? There's nothing really unique about him. He's just a Waddle Dee whose only defining feature is a blue bandana and a spear. But despite how unimpressive he may appear, he has been receiving some major representation in some of the latest Kirby games, from his appearance as a playable character in Return to Dreamland, in the multiplayer of Rainbow Curse, and as a Dream Allies in Star Allies as well. But another aspect of Bandana D that people seem to shirk is that technically he was created by Sakurai, who developed the very first Kirby game that featured the appearances of the Waddle Dee enemy type. Now when it comes to Smash, Sakurai always seemed to show slight favoritism to characters that he had a hand in creating or either developing. This might explain why we got characters such as Palutena and Dark Pit in Smash 4, who both appeared in Kid Icarus Uprising, a game that Sakurai developed. But a point against Bandana D inclusion is that with Ultimate, Sakurai seems to be interested in appeasing the fan rather than himself. So unless he's able to find a unique way to incorporate Bandana D into the game, Sakurai could potentially put aside his own desire and try to focus on getting the fan requested characters into the game. It's also extremely likely that we'll get a new Pokemon rep as well. Like the Mario characters, each installment always gets a Pokemon as a newcomer. In Melee we got characters such as Mewtwo and Pichu. In Brawl we got Lucario and a Pokemon trainer. And in Smash 4 we got Greninja and the return of Mewtwo. Now Sakurai has explained the process that goes into choosing a rep from the Pokemon series. Firstly, he pays a visit to the Pokemon company and asks them questions such as what Pokemon are currently popular or which one is being featured in the latest movie or anime. With these two factors in mind, it's obvious that the new Pokemon rep would either be one that has a prominent role in either the film or anime, or has garnered popularity from the fans. There are two Pokemon that meet the film requirement. There's Marshadow, who appears in the Pokemon I Choose You film, and then there's Zeraora, who appears in the Power of Us film. Now it obviously can't be Marshadow since he's already one of the Pokemon that can be summoned by the Pokeball, so it could potentially be Zeraora. Now Zeraora isn't the BN and NL choice, Other Pokemon such as Incineroar and Decidueye also have a chance. In fact, currently in the anime, Ash does have a Torracat and Rowlet who could potentially evolve into an Incineroar and a Decidueye later on in the series. In general, when it comes to Pokemon, Sakurai has numerous choices, so it's basically up to him to figure out which one could perfectly fit well in Ultimate. Now, there's a slight possibility that we could get a rep from the Mother series. Now, while the series has been dormant, 2015 saw the release of Earthbound Beginning. This was the first game in the series that featured the protagonist Ninten, who've yet to make an official appearance in a Super Smash Bros. Game. Well, except in a sticker in Brawl. Now, while the prospect of seeing all three protagonists from the Mother series be represented in Smash sounds interesting, there is one major hurdle that could prevent this from happening. And it mainly has to do with the similarity between Ninten and Ness. When selecting characters for the next game, Sakurai always chooses those with unique attributes that distinguishes them from past characters. And since Ninten strongly resembles Ness in appearance, Sakurai could potentially be dissuaded from including him in Ultimate, as player might confuse him with Ness, or he might not bring anything new to the game. There is, however, the slight possibility that maybe Nintendo's design could be tweaked a little bit to distinguish him from Ness, or Nintendo could come to the game as an Echo Fighter for either Ness or Lucas, or even be an amalgamation of both, similar to how Chrom is basically an amalgamation of Roy and Ike. Due to the popularity of the series, it's possible that we could get a rep from the Xenoblade Chronicles series as well. With that in mind, there are two obvious choices. We have Cross, the avatar from Xenoblade Chronicles X, and Rex, the protagonist from the most recent game, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And out of the two, I believe that Cross has the likeliest chance of making it. Now, the reason why I believe this to be the case is that the proposal for Ultimate was developed around December 2015, a few years before the official announcement of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It's possible that at that time, Sakurai already had a clear idea of what characters he wanted to appear in the game. And since Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is such a recent release, it's possible that Sakurai wasn't aware of the game's existence and therefore doesn't have enough time to incorporate Rex into the game. If a Xenoblade rep were to come to Smash, it would obviously be from X, since it was the most recent game around the time of the proposal development. Now, why I strongly believe we'll get an X rep, I'm not so certain if it's going to be Cross. In the DLC for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the developer added in Elma, a prominent character from X, as a blade that players can acquire from the challenge mode. The fact that Monolith Soft opted to put Elma over Cross could potentially point to her inclusion in Ultimate. Although since Echo Fighter are a thing, Elma could come to the game as a newcomer along with Cross as her Echo Fighter, or vice versa. In past installments, we usually get new characters from series that haven't been fully represented. Some of them come from dormant franchises such as the Ice Climber or Pit, and some come from recent games that have been released such as Shock or Bayonetta. and it's possible that this might apply to some of the newcomers coming to Ultimate. Now, 3 characters come to mind. The first one would be basically an rep from ARM in the form of Springman, since he appears to be the Ryu of the series. And the reason why I believe this to be the case is that there's a slight possibility that both the development of ARM and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate overlap with one another. We know that when researching for potential characters, Sakurai and his team conducts research on games that are currently being developed, so it's possible that he could have stumbled upon the existence of ARMS during its pre-development and figured out a unique way to incorporate an ARMS fighter into the game. Not only that, but Sakurai always tried to find characters with unique traits and ability that distinguishes them from past characters. And one of the most unique aspects of the ARM fighter are the extendable limbs that could be incorporated into their fighting style. And with the possibility of a newcomer coming with echoes, there are a slew of characters from the ARM universe that could fit that role perfectly. From Ribbon Girl to Ninjara, Max Brax, or even Dr. Coil. And would completely make sense since all the ARM fighters share the same fighting style. The second rep could come in the form of Jibanya, a supposed mascot from the Yokai Watch series. And the reason why I believe we'll get a Yokai Watch rep is due to how relevant the series appears to be. In fact, we're even going to get a Yokai Watch 4 that's coming to the Switch. So with the potential of this series continuing, it's extremely likely that we'll get a rep. And while we're on the subject, the numerous variation on Jibanya could be used as a suitable echo for the character. And finally, Wonder Red from the Wonderful 101 series could potentially come to Ultimate. The reason why is due to the possibility of a Wonderful 101 port coming to the Switch. In a May 2018 interview, it was reported that the game director Hideki Kamiya wanted to port the game to the Switch. Not only that, but the Platium game Twitter posted an image that depicted the characters from the game playing what appears to be a Switch version of the Wonderful 101. Now, it hasn't been officially confirmed, but it wouldn't be surprising if a port was announced later on in the future direct. And adding in the Wonder Red to Ultimate would be a good way to promote the release. In fact, they could even do the same thing they did in the Isabelle reveal trailer and have the Wonder Red reveal end with the announcement of the port. Since they are playing a major role in developing Ultimate, it's possible that we could get another rep from Bandai Namco. And based on the Mii costume from Smash 4, we could potentially get Hayashi Mishima from the Tekken series or Lord Irving from the Tales series. Out of the two, it could potentially be Hayashi, since he feels a little bit more unique than Lloyd, who, no offense, is just another sword fight wielder. And Smash Bros. Already has an abundance of those. Now, if Hayashi were to come to Ultimate, an appropriate echo for him could come in the form of either his son Kazuya or his grandson Jin, since they both utilize the same fighting style. Now, Sakurai isn't restricted to just Tekken or Tales characters. He could choose characters from other Bandai Namco series, such as Soul Calibur or Dark Soul. Ultimately, it's up to him to figure out which character he has an interest in, or who better fits Smash Brothers. During the August Direct, Sakurai showed off a segment where players were facing off against Rathalos, a creature from the Monster Hunter series. One of the most peculiar details about this encounter was the arena it was taking place in. While it appears to be just a simple flat plain, it seems to be based on an actual locale from the Monster Hunter series, known as the Ancestral Steep. Now this isn't the only instance. During the showcase of the Dracula boss battle, it was noticed that the encounter was taking place in also a flat arena that was reminiscent of the Dracula castle stage. So it's possible that the arena used for the Rathalos fight is actually based on a Monster Hunter stage that hasn't yet been revealed. The possibility of a Monster Hunter stage could be a soft confirmation that a rep from the series is coming to the game, possibly the Hunter. In fact, there was even a Mii costume based on the Hunter in Smash 4. So it's possible that Sakurai has an interest in putting a Monster Hunter rep in Ultimate. And another reason why I believe we'll get a Monster Hunter rep is due to the popularity the series has gained through the release of Monster Hunter World. Now while the game is coming to the Switch anytime, prior to the release of World, the series was relegated exclusively on a Nintendo 3DS system. Heck, even today, Capcom is still releasing games such as Monster Hunter Story for the 3DS or Monster Hunter Ultimate for the Switch. Like Bandai Namco and Capcom, Square Enix also have a slew of series that could be represented in Ultimate. We could get another character from the Final Fantasy series in the form of Cecil or Noctis, or we could get a character from an unrepresented series. Three series that come to mind are the Dragon Quest series, Kingdom Hearts, and Chrono Trigger. Now I believe that it's possible that we'll get a Dragon Quest rep since the series has a long history of having games published on the Nintendo system. Now one of the most important questions is which character will it be? An impossible choice could be the hero from Dragon Quest VIII due to the recent 3DS port, or we could even get the protagonist from the most recent game, Elusive Age, which is supposed to have a Switch port coming. It's possible that in Smash Ultimate we could get rep from third-party developers, since this would coincide well with Nintendo's initiative of strengthening their relationship with other developers. While they haven't given the Switch their most noticeable titles such as Call of Duty or Destiny, Activision has supported the console with games such as Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy and Skylander Imaginator. And it's been rumored that the Spyro Reignited trilogy might come to the Switch. With these facts in mind, it's possible that we could get an Activision rep. Now immediately, the two that come to mind is Crash Bandicoot and Spyro the Dragon. While they are both synonymous with the PlayStation brand, technically they are classified as third-party characters and even had games released on Nintendo system. Out of the two, I believe that Crash has the likeliest chance of making it to Smash since his game has already been released on the Switch. And while we're at it, if Crash were to come to Ultimate, a suitable echo for him could come in the form of his sister Coco, who's also playable in the Insane trilogy. Even before the Switch existed, Atlus has always prominently supported Nintendo with series such as the Shin Megami Tensei or Etrian Odyssey. Not only that, they were even able to collaborate with Nintendo to develop Tokyo Mirage Session, At this point, they are owed for some representation in Smash. Now, an obvious rep could come from the Shin Megami Tensei series due to its popularity, and a potential rep could come in the form of Nanashi, the protagonist from the most recent game, Apocalypse. And since third-party characters can get Echo Fighters, Flynn, the protagonist from the previous game, could be a potential candidate for that role. Out of all the third-party developers, Bethesda has given an overwhelming amount of support to the Switch. So far, they published 3 major titles: Skyrim, Doom, and Wolfenstein: The New Colossus, and it seems like they'll continue their support with the release of Doom Eternal. With that in mind, Nintendo might return the favor and allow a Bethesda rep to come to Smash Ultimate. Now, the most obvious choice would have to be the Dragonborn from Skyrim, and it would be very appropriate since it was the first game that Bethesda ever published on the console. While Ubisoft haven't released some of their most noticeable titles, such as Assassin's Creed or The Division, last year we did saw them collaborate with Nintendo to develop the acclaimed Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. And it seems like both companies are continuing their collaboration effort in the upcoming game Starlink, which will feature characters from Star Fox in the Switch version of the game. With there being good blood between the two companies, it's possible we could get a Ubisoft rep in Ultimate. And the most obvious candidate would obviously be Rayman, who was represented as a trophy in Smash 4. And a potential echo could come in the form of either Globox or Barbara. Now let's hope to God that Sakurai and Nintendo doesn't misinterpret the success of Kingdom Battle and puts a rabbit instead of Rayman. And these are the characters I believe have a chance of making it to Smash Ultimate, whether they be available in the base game or as DLC. And what are your guys' thoughts? What character would you like to see, or what character do you think have a chance of being in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? And why do you think so? Feel free to leave the answer in the comment section. And I've been your host, Mr. Platium, and I'll be signing off.